Hey there, everyone in Facebook land. This is Dawn DelVecchio coming to you live from Sedona, Arizona on the 12th of September 2018. And today's talk is, I actually gave it a name, The Transformational Magic of a Daily Spiritual Practice. So please stick with me here because I'm going to be sort of teasing out and unpacking some different ways that you could begin to either develop or incorporate some valuable things, activities, or intentions into a daily practice. And so for those of you who work at jobs and you have like a 40-hour or more work week, I get it. I get that you're busy, and the thought of adding more, especially if you have kids or family, or if you're very active in your community or you do a lot of extra activities. Hey there, welcome, welcome. That adding more to your day could initially feel like, oh, more to do. However, I really want to invite you to stay with me here because I'm going to be offering tips and suggestions, both that people with time can do, but more importantly, those who feel maybe you don't have that much time. Ways that you could bring in this daily grounding practice to activate your full intention for your highest manifestation in this life, and really to activate a little bit more magic in your life. So again, hence the name, The Transformational Magic of a Daily Spiritual Practice. So please also, a quick request that if you know anyone who would benefit from grounding their spiritual practice or learning some of these tips, please share. And if anything resonates with you, I always appreciate a thumbs up or the hearts. Give me a heart, send me a heart. And if having a daily practice is important to you and understanding the spiritual facilitation and daily practice tools of a priestess is something that you are interested in, then I really want to invite you to stick through to the end, where I'm going to share a little more detail about my retreat coming up in Thailand in February. And this is a place, I have a retreat also in September coming up in 2 weeks, but it's full already. So, but I will have another one in February. And this is really a fantastic way to connect with other women doing sacred work and develop the skills and tools of a ceremonial priestess, but also just for your own spiritual practice. So stick with me, I'll tell you more about that at the end. But for now, let's talk about the transformational power first, then give you some ideas of what you can do, and then again, I'll share a little more. So please, if anything resonates, please give me a thumbs up. Okay. So what I have found, and I'm not alone, is that the longer and the more consistently I stuck with a simple morning practice. For me, the morning worked best. For some people, the evening works best. Hey there, Jen, welcome. For me, doing a simple daily practice is how I started. So I basically started with a few yoga moves just to get my body loose, so that I could sit. So maybe this was how I started. Now I have a much longer practice, but just to begin, I did a few yoga moves and then I did some meditation. And even that alone, starting my day with a very, very simple but consistent daily practice, really shifted a few key things for me. So I want to share those with you now before I move on to giving more tips and suggestions of what you might bring into a daily practice. The first thing I noticed was not that I mastered meditation. It wasn't that. There were a lot of times where I sat there and just watched the monkey circus go. What I found was that over the course of the day, and then as I did it regularly over the course of the weeks and the months, I had more calm isn't even the right word. It's like more presence of mind to handle life's slings and arrows, the stuff that gets thrown your way. In other words, I felt like I was a little bit more even keel. So that was the first thing I noticed. The other thing I noticed is that when I would miss a day or two, and maybe this is why I noticed the first thing, I would feel off. I would feel things would give me a little bit more anxiousness. I would be thrown off center more easily. So these were subtle distinctions, but the longer I did it, the more clear it became that when I didn't hold to even a simple daily practice of a few yoga moves, 10, 15 minutes of meditation, what I found was I would get a little off kilter more easily. The next thing I noticed is that my, believe it or not, and this is, I can't say this would be for everyone, but it's not a medical thing, but I felt like my blood sugar changed. I felt like I didn't have these sort of urgent spikes of hunger or it's hard to explain. It's like I didn't all of a sudden in the middle of the morning be like, I need to eat something now. And again, maybe this has to do, hey Shelley, welcome. Maybe this has to do with this sort of being psycho-spiritually less, what's the word? Or more even keel is what I want to say. Hi, more even keel. So those were the main things I noticed when I just kept a very simple daily practice. Oh no, there's one other thing really important. The other important thing is once I started doing a consistent daily practice is that my anxiety levels lowered about the future, full stop. They just did. It didn't eliminate them completely, although I would say now in my life that I rarely feel anxiety about the future. But when I started, when I started really doing a regular, simple, probably it was 15, 20 minutes total, practice on a consistent basis, over time, my anxiety about the future really reduced. I didn't worry so much about things like money and time and what was going to happen in 5 years or 2 years or next month. Or I was able to just manage things more with, like I said, a more even keel attitude about life. So those were the things I particularly noticed. And I'm sure that there's distinctions from person to person. But what I know is that I am certainly not alone in the recognition that a daily practice brings a level of peace, tranquility, stability, and transformational magic to the experience of life generally. Even if sometimes that sitting in meditation, which was my thing, is just watching the monkey circus of the mind. Because there's something about grounding ourselves in the practice. Thanks for the thumbs up. Grounding ourselves in the practice that is stabilizing, is grounding. Now, so next thing I want to talk about is daily practice in terms of when. When do you want to do it? And that really is going to depend on you. I feel like we are all wired different. We are all made differently. So there's no one formula for everyone. For me, I have a lot of energy in the morning. I can get a lot done in the morning. If you saw me in the kitchen, it's amazing. Like I'm making shakes and coffee and doing all these things in the morning. And cleaning things up and organizing things for the day. I'm a morning person. I always say I live up to my name, Dawn. But not everyone is that way, so that's okay. You don't have to wake up at 6 a.m. and to meditate if you don't like it. Maybe you're an evening person. Or maybe you find that right after lunch, before you get that digestive dip where you get a little sleepy, that might be the time for you. Everybody's different. The key is consistency. And initially maybe experimentation. Figure out what works for you and then find that time and stick with it. Not my circus, not my monkeys, that's right. Yeah. So, and the more we meditate or the more we have a daily practice we ground in, the more we don't have to identify with those monkey, the crazy monkey mind going bonkers. So when to have your daily practice, see what works for you. So that's, I can't be any more specific than that other than experiment if you're not sure. But find that time of the day where having a little bit of peace and quiet would do the body good and do the mind good and do the heart good. That's really the best thing. Okay, so then the next thing is daily practice. Doing what? So I'm titling this The Transformational Magic of a Daily Practice. So what's transformational about doing a few little bits of yoga and meditation? Well, there's something about discipline that really cultivates the character. I would say that your capacity to maintain a level of self-discipline strengthens your character, full stop, no matter what that is. So then if you are a woman who is committed to a spiritual path, which you probably wouldn't be if you weren't watching, if you were watching this, you probably are, then you want to be able to really anchor in that spiritual aspect of your life. So what are the things that are meaning to you spiritually? I'm going to share some possibilities now for you to play with. I've already touched on two, yoga and meditation. Sacred reading of some kind is another possibility, to sit in quiet contemplation, to read a sacred book of some kind, something that has spiritual meaning and guidance for you, and then contemplate that. That's certainly another possibility. Affirmations, mudras, or hand positions, different hand positions. You'd have to know what they are, like teaching position. Those could be also, some people relate to that. Pranayama, breathing exercises. Those are also possibilities. I am someone who likes to do some reading sometimes, but often I do journal writing and tarot cards. So I often use the tarot as a way to gain inner reflection for the day. So I may just pull one card, meditate on it, journal on it. That's another possibility for you. Lighting a candle and just staring into the candle and clearing your mind and breathing, doing any kind of breathing exercise that really helps you get into a sort of trance-altered state where you're just trancing into that candle and being present, bringing you into the now moment. You could do that with a vessel of water as well. You might like to light incense. You might like to anoint yourself. You can see I've got many, many possibilities here. You might like to smudge. Perhaps smudging is something that helps you just sort of clear your energy field and your mind and your body and bring you into the present now moment. All of these are possibilities. And then what you can do over time is sort of string them together. So now what I want to do is share a little bit about one of the ways that I do my morning practice, because I kind of do all of these things, but I don't necessarily do them every day. So I will tell you what my current practice is, and it changes over time. So the first thing I do is I go to my altar. So I have a working altar. Actually, if you came to my house, you'd discover that I have altars all over the house. I have them, even in my kitchen, we have like an altar to our family. In the dining room, we have all different altars. So I have 1, 2, 3 here in my office, and then if you don't count the crystals on the windowsill there. So I have many altars in the house, but I have one altar that is my working altar. It's on the ground, it's on a very low table, and in front of it, it's in my living room, and in front of it is my yoga mat. And so in the morning, I go to my yoga mat / altar. And I begin most mornings with some yoga to stretch my body, to get my body awake. And then I sit and I offer some prayers. I send out prayers to family members, for myself. Sometimes I have written prayers that I'm reading from a book, or sometimes I'm just, asking. Basically, I send a blessing to my mom and dad. I send a blessing to my brother and sister-in-law. I send a blessing to my son and daughter-in-law, that kind of thing. And I send a prayer for my husband, for my body, for my health, etc. And then I will read a little bit from the Course in Miracles and do I do a daily practice there. They have daily lessons. And then I light a candle, and I either smudge myself with a little bit of sage or a little bit of Palo Santo. And then I go through a series of anointing prayers where I literally anoint all my chakras, the bottoms of my feet, and this point here in my hands, which is the place where I feel energy when I'm doing energy healing. And I have a special prayer that I say to anoint each of these areas. And I use the same essential oil every day, and I don't have it here with me, but it's a doTERRA oil. You can use whatever you want, but I anoint myself. And then I go into meditation. And over time, I've done different meditations, but I'm really into this one modified version of a meditation I learned from Sally Kempton. So this is not a Kundalini meditation. It's a tantric meditation, a tantric breath meditation that really connects me into my body and into the present moment. And from there, if I still have time, because now we're looking at about 45 minutes, 45 minutes to an hour, I may do some tarot cards as well and write in my journal. It really depends on the day. And this is just one example. If I wake up with a really profound dream, I'm going to go right to my journal. I'm going to go right to my journal. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to dialogue with the characters in the dream, and I'm going to mine my dream for insights. I may pull cards on it as well, and then I will go into some of the other things. But pretty much every day, every day, it doesn't matter. I smudge, light a candle, anoint myself, meditate. Those are the absolutes for me. So that's a bunch of different ideas. There's so many more you can do, and if I went further, in this video, I'd have to start talking about ceremony, and that sort of leads to the next thing I wanted to share, which is my retreats. So I offer retreats called Empowered Feminine Leadership Retreats, and right now I'm holding them in Sedona, Arizona, where I live most of the year, and Chiang Mai, Thailand, where I live for a shorter segment of the year. I'm considering offering them also in Bali, Malaysia, and I'm open to other possibilities, perhaps in the future in Europe. But step by step, I'm really giving myself plenty of time to develop these. These retreats are for women, and they're for women who really seek to walk the sacred path, who know that by aligning with their highest self in a sacred way, they invoke and activate magic in their lives. So whether you are a woman who is a teacher or leader or mentor of some kind, whether you are a woman who is in a deep self-healing process, whether you are a mom leading your family, or a professional woman who doesn't have children but really wants to bring the sacred into everything that you do, even in maybe corporate America or something, whether you are a business owner who really knows that your work is sacred and you want to be sure that you have a way to stay grounded and aligned in your power, in your sacred power, you are someone who would benefit from one of my retreats. Oh, thank you for all the love and thumbs up. Thank you, thank you. So you would benefit from one of my retreats. This is a place where women gather in sacred space and learn the arts and skills of the priestess. And this does not mean that you have to go out in the public and hang a shingle saying, I'm a priestess. You don't have to do that. This is a deeper thing than that. This is about walking the sacred path in every area of your life. And so I really want to invite you to consider this if you resonate with my conversations. Hey, Helen, welcome. Good to see you. So if you resonate with the things that I share here on Facebook, and you really feel like bringing forth a real sacred embodiment of the divine feminine is what you want to walk through your life with, even if your life has to do with other seemingly non-sacred things, then do consider applying to come to one of my retreats. As I said, my Sedona retreat is full right now, but I still have 9 and possibly 10 spaces available in Thailand in February. So with that, I would really like to invite you to share with me, what is your daily practice? What do you do to ground and anchor yourself in sacred alignment each day? Or do you? Or are you looking for that? Do you do it sometimes? Do you do it once a week, twice a week? What time of the day resonates most for you? Do you find that you're an evening person, and if you sit for a little while and read a spiritual book or meditate before bed, that really brings you into a kind of alignment that keeps you even keel through your life? Do you find that you need something midday to take a break and from the workaday world? Or do you find that, like me, you like to wake up in the morning and begin your day with that? So I'm really curious. I'm curious, what is your sacred practice, if any? Okay, so before I get up and as I go to sleep, 2 times a day. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jen, via Priestess School. Yes, 2 times a day. Definitely. I often do 2 times a day, but definitely once a day because I have a biggie in the morning. So yeah, when? What do you do? What are you into? What would you like to learn? Maybe there's something that you want to You're like, wow, that sounded really interesting, Dawn. You anoint yourself? What's that all about? Tell me more. So if you ask me those questions, I can make another video about it. Okay, I've been talking a lot here. I want to wrap this up now. So as always, thank you for the blessings and the love. I so appreciate it. Please, if you're into this, I'm receiving all that love. Thank you, Shelley. So with that, I'm going to sign off for now. Again, if you find this of value, please do share it with others that might benefit, and let me know about your daily practice, and consider applying for one of my retreats. Thank you, and until soon, I send you all bright blessings from sunny Sedona. Mwah.